really think this is gonna work, Eve?
Well, sometimes if one physically reenacts a situation from the past, it can trigger a memory. In this case, if David and Grace were married...
Look, they're not married. Grace isn't going to remember the wedding because it never happened. And this has gone on a little too long.
Let it play out. It's the only way to find out if Grace has any memory of David and their wedding.
Grace has to remember that she was married to David, because if she remembers, then Sam won't be able to deny it anymore.
Marriage is sacred to Grace. If she really was married to David, she'll never break her vows.
Exactly. And then Sam will be free.
Well, it doesn't look good for Ethan and the search party, does it?
No. It's a pity. I rather liked the boy. Now that Ethan's gone, I'm sure Teresa's going to need a great deal of consoling. She'll probably take to her bed.
And of course you'll have to take to it with her.
Husband's duty, old man. She certainly has a longer shelf life than Rebecca.
Poor Becky Weggy.
And I'll break it to her gently. I'll explain to her that I married Teresa without knowing what I was doing.
And if Rebecca tells you you have to have the marriage annulled?
I'm not a cat, Bruce, up and just run off on my new wife. I couldn't do that. Now, as soon as I receive official word that Ethan is no longer with us, I will email Rebecca informing her that she's not going to be the next Mrs. Crane. That slot is already filled.
It's a bloody hurricane out there. Never should have agreed to drive you. 100 American isn't worth getting killed for.
If you would just kindly close your mouth and drive, I'll gladly give you 200. Just get us there in one piece.
God, we are lucky to be on the ground. I thought for a minute up there the plane was just going to break in two.
Gwen, life is about taking chances. You have to seize the moment. I mean, it's not every day I have the opportunity to marry Julian Crane. And I am certainly not going to sit back and wait while some little hussy snatches him up. You know, once the press announces that he's available, the women are going to be swarming. But I am going to be the one to land him. Within 24 hours, I'm going to be the next Mrs. Julian Crane. And I'll be the envy of every divorcee in society.
I got the gun! Look at the boat!
Listen to me. Hey! We're not going in until we find Sheridan. You got that?
There's something in the water! What is it?
I can't tell. It's something white.
Get the anchor unstuck?
No, not yet. One more try should do the trick, though.
Okay, coffee's almost ready.
Sounds good. It's Sheridan! I'm going in! Oh, wait, Louis, don't do it! Dead. We're all dead.
I would hold the hand of the one who could lead me places and kiss the lips of the one who could sing so sweet. And I would fly on the wings of the bird I knew could take me highest. Breathe in, breathe out. You keep me alive. You are the fire burning inside of me. You are my passion for life.
Louise! Louise! You're wasting your breath. Louise! He's a dead man, just like his fiancée. Why the hell is Louise risking his life with this dame?
He loves her. And any man would do the same.
You're out of your mind. All of you. Chad! Did he sign it, Louise? Not yet.
You know, this whole thing could end up a total disaster.
What, the storm will die down.
I'm not talking about the hurricane, Mother. Although it could put me out of my misery for good.
Would you hush? You came down here to find out what's going on with Ethan.
Yeah, that's just it. You know, we know that Teresa is here, so what if Ethan came down here to marry her? What if we get to the hotel and they're already husband and wife?
What if? What if? What if? You know what your problem is? You are too negative. You should be more like your mother and think positively. Yes, positive thinking. That's what's gotten me Julian. That and staying focused. And now I'm within hours of marrying the man.
Yeah, and Teresa could already be married to Ethan.
You know what I think? I think that Teresa will have once again, without any help from us this time, messed things up. I think you'll find that Ethan is now a free man.
Well, I've never thought of you as a prophet, but this time I really pray you're right about this.
You know, I've never been able to see into the future, but my instincts are extraordinary.
Okay, well then I'll take a page from your book. If I see an opening, I'll pounce. I will do anything it takes to make Teresa look bad in Ethan's eyes.
You know, once Julian and I are married, Ethan will see the value in a union with you. Then the two of you will be wed, and Ethan will be reinstated as a Grey.
How are your ladies holding up? Must be very hard knowing that your fellas have drowned.
Drowned?
Who said that?
What are you talking about?
No.
Well, I mean, no one actually said it, but you heard the captain. There's no possible way anyone could survive out there.
They have to. I refuse to believe that they're dead.
They're all coming back, Julian. All of them.
You could get a helicopter. You could send out a rescue squad.
I already contacted the coastal authority here. I pleaded with them, but they will not send anything out on the sea or in the air, not in this. I begged them to reconsider, but they were adamant. They said perhaps in the morning if the hurricane is abated.
The morning will be too late, Julian.
No one asked Ethan and the others to go out there. Certain is my beloved sister. I would do anything in the world to save her, but if she is already drowned, and I'm afraid we have to assume that she is, why risk more lives? If there was anything that I could do, anything at all, short of swimming out there to rescue them myself, you know I would do it. Because after all, you are my wife.
Thank you, Mr. Green.
Yeah, please, I thought we dispensed with that formality. Please, call me Julian. You can count on me for anything, Teresa. Anything at all.
Go easy, bro.
Well, he's taking advantage of the moment.
Let it play out.
Just watching him kissing my wife.
Grace doesn't want to kiss him. She's just doing it to find the truth.
Look, I know what the truth is.
But maybe this will actually trigger a memory in Grace.
What is it, Grace? Do you remember something?
How can you keep denying it? First, we have the priest who performed the wedding ceremony who says he remembers us. A priest, Sam. And now you have Grace who remembers herself.
She didn't say that.
It sure felt like it to me.
Grace, did the kiss trigger a memory?
Grace, don't tell me that.
I remembered the wedding.
I knew it.
Oh, thank you, God. Thank you so much. Oh, now Sam and I can finally be together.
Believe whatever you want, Sam. But every word I told you is the truth. Grace and I were married in Hartford by Father Mike. Long before she ever met you.
You're a liar.
Wait, I just recalled something else. Your mentioning Hartford reminded me. Grace said she planned to go to Boston After the honeymoon, she was going to take some courses.
That's exactly what happened. After we had our honeymoon, you left for Boston. And I never saw her again until I picked up that magazine and saw her photo.
Boston, I lived in Boston. That's where we met. God, poor Grace.
Their marriage is really over.
Grace, when you and I met, you told me that you were certain, in spite of your amnesia, that you'd never loved anyone else.
Sam, I don't know. I mean, I just had this flash of a memory.
Of what? Exactly what did you remember?
Not a lot.
Grace, any memory could be important. What was it?
We were in the church at the altar. So happy. I was so happy.
The groom. Who was the groom, Grace?
It was David. At least I think it was David.
Of course it was me.
Wait a minute. What do you mean?
Well, I couldn't make out the face of the man I was kissing.
I don't think it's a good idea for you to be holding my hand. We don't want to make anybody suspicious.
Suspicious?
Of us, you know, what happened?
Oh, our wedding.
I mean, nobody can ever know about that. And once you get our marriage annulled like you said you would, well, no one can ever find out. In the meantime, people have to think that I know you as Mr. Crane, the man who was Ethan's father.
Oh, come now, Teresa. After what happened between us last night, we'll always be more than mere acquaintances. What is it, sweet Teresa?
Don't touch me! What are we doing in bed with each other?
What? Making love, of course.
No!
Granted, neither of us wanted it to happen, but to deny that it did.
Oh, yeah, I just don't want to talk about it.
Oh, I understand. It's been a very stressful
It's been a night.
evening. Very upsetting what was Sheridan drowning and all. And
No, don't say that. They will find her. All of them.
I think it's time for a drink. What would you and your little friend like? One of those fun island concoctions?
I'm never drinking again, Mr. Crane.
We're too young to drink, Julian. Something you knew very well last night when you plied Teresa with champagne.
Plied, as I recall, she was a more than willing participant. I do suppose we might have had a bit too many. Well, anyway, I'll be close at hand if you need me. Oh, youth, so full of fire and hope, in this case misplaced. No one out there could ever survive this hurricane.
Julian is so gross. I can't even believe you held his hand, much less, you know.
Don't mention it. Okay? Look, I can't stand him, but I have to be nice to him until he gets our marriage annulled.
If he gets your marriage
Don't
annulled.
say that. He's got to do it. Our marriage has to be totally wiped off the books, which means I cannot get on his bad side.
You know, whatever. The only thing I can think about right now is that our guys are out there all alone. I mean, what if Julian's right? What if no one can survive this hurricane?
Louise! He's gone. Shut up! Your friend was swallowed up by a sea just like his fiance. I said shut up! Louise! If we don't head back now, we're all gonna wind up dead. Louise! Look! There! I said something to Louise! I see him! Look! Look, he's got something with him! I'm still lost! It must be Sheridan! Yeah, you hold us! Keep an eye on him! We'll try to pull him in!
I couldn't see his face. The man I was kissing, I couldn't make out who it was.
Me. It was me. Our reenactment of the wedding made you remember. You remember the church in Hartford. Your dress. The ring on your finger. And then you turned and kissed the groom. Me.
Is that your memory, Grace?
Yeah.
The kiss triggered a memory of something that had happened to you years ago.
Stop putting words in her mouth.
Look, we agreed that however slight the memory, it was important. And obviously the kiss had a huge impact on Grace.
It's not obvious to me.
How can you not see that this proves we're married?
Because it doesn't. It doesn't prove a damn thing.
Mr. Bennett, language. You're in a church.
Look, I'm sorry, Father. But this guy's been manipulating the whole thing.
What have I manipulated? We agreed that we'd reenact the wedding.
Arguing like this isn't helpful because you're both right. I mean, clearly, the kiss triggered a memory in Grace. But that doesn't mean that that memory is of David as the groom.
It wasn't.
Look, I don't know what this means, but if there's a chance...
Grace,
Got David
listen to me. He is lying. He's lied since the day he got here.
But the priest remembers performing the ceremony.
Father, just about everything is riding on this. Is there any chance you could be wrong? Any chance at all?
Father, listen to me, man. You have got to be 100% sure.
I wasn't positive before, but I am now. 100%.
Grace, come on. Come on. Get you some fresh air. Come on.
I have to see if there's anything I can do. Eve, I heard the whole thing, and I feel absolutely terrible for Sam and Grace.
Ivy. Wait, have you come here to gloat?
You're gonna be all right, Luis. What about Sheridan? This is the white shirt. Thought it was Sheridan, but take it easy, man. Take it easy. It's totally his shirt. It's my shirt. This is the shirt that Sheridan borrowed before the bomb exploded. What's the matter with all of you? The woman's gone. Shut up! Even if she survived the blast, there's no way she can live in these waters. Look at him. He's a strong man and he's half dead. I tell you, the girl's dead. Son of a bitch. He's not worth it, Luis! Luis, he's not worth it. Look, one more word out of your big mouth and I'm throwing you in. Look, forget about him, okay? We need to save our strength. So we can find Sheridan. And we're not going back till we do.
Julian is wrong. Wait, he has to be. Ethan, Luis, and Chad, they're gonna be okay. And they will come back to us as soon as they find Sheridan.
Yeah, you're right. Of course they will.
I couldn't go on without Ethan. He means everything to me. He's the air I breathe. And I decided that when he gets back, I'm gonna tell him everything, hold nothing back.
Good. You're gonna be completely honest.
I know that it's gonna be hard for me. And it's gonna be terrible for Ethan to hear it, but I have to tell him that I slept with Julian. Not only slept with him, but
you married him.
And I know that Ethan is gonna be angry, but he has every right to be. I mean, you were right all along. You can't build a happy life based on lies.
Right, because no relationship can ever survive that.
So, this is gonna be the ultimate test, you know? If Ethan, I can get through this. If Julian does what he promised me and he gets our marriage annulled, well, then Ethan, I can start fresh. You know, build a life based on love and honesty. But if he doesn't forgive me, I will die.
No, Teresa, don't say that. Don't even think it. Listen to me, whatever happens, life goes on. All right? I mean, yeah, you might not be as happy. Or you may still dream about someone that you can't have, but
you're not talking about me and Ethan. I'm talking about you and Chad. You still love him, don't you? That hasn't changed, has it?
I can't believe we made it here alive. Ah, there's Julian. Oh, and that lech, Bruce. Come on.
I keep telling you, there's nothing to worry about. I'll take care of it.
You may be a crane, mon ami, but the law down here is the law.
Well, what law have you broken now, Julian?
Rebecca!
And the lovely Gwen.
What are you doing down here?
What kind of a way is that to welcome your fiancé?
No, why didn't you let me know you were coming?
Well, I wanted to surprise you.
You certainly have. Whatever induced you to come down here in the middle of a hurricane?
A wedding?
A wedding. Rebecca,
Yes, what better place for you and I to be married than right here in Bermuda? Oh, and I can promise you a honeymoon you will never forget.
She's out there, Chad. I know it. I feel it. I'm with you, buddy. Oh, my God. What? Look! I've never seen a wave that size in my life.
Well, Julian, I thought you'd be happy. Yes, but you look downright miserable.
no, well, it's just that we've already had one tragedy, and there might be another one in the making.
What are you talking about? Wait a minute, nothing's happened to Ethan, has it?
Well, not yet.
What do you mean, not yet?
Louise and Sheridan went out on a fishing boat. There was an explosion.
What?
Yes, Louise barely survived, but it appears that Sheridan was lost at sea.
How awful.
Yes, you see, that's why it's really not a good time to be talking about weddings.
Oh, of course. It's just, well, too terrible.
Wait, Sheridan she's my best friend. She can't be dead. She was just about to marry a man that she was so deeply in love with.
What other tragedy is in the offing?
I'm afraid that does involve Ethan.
Oh, no.
In spite of everyone telling them she couldn't possibly still be alive, Ethan and Louise and their friend Chad have gone out to search for Sheridan, and we fear that they too could be lost.
Why didn't Teresa stop him? I would never let him go out into a hurricane.
Well, Teresa tried to stop Ethan, but as you well know, they've been going through a difficult period. They may not be as close as they once were.
Well, whose fault is that?
Well, Ethan's for being foolhardy. Don't blame Teresa.
Julian Crane is defending Teresa Lopez Fitzgerald? That's a first.
Look, it doesn't matter whether or not I love Chad. I took a vow, Teresa. I swore that if Simone survived, I would give up Chad. So, as far as I'm concerned, Chad belongs to Simone.
Whitney,
right now, Chad could be fighting for his life and thinking of you. Don't turn your back on him.
Excuse me. I thought that you would want these
What are they?
photos taken during the wedding I performed last night.
Oh my god. Well, there it is in living color for the whole world to see.
If anyone sees this and tells Ethan before I can confess it to him, I'm dead.
You were here the whole time? You were here for the whole reenactment?
Yes, I was.
How did you know that Sam and Grace would be here?
She didn't know that Sam and Grace would be here. She came to bring flowers to the church.
Really, Pilar and I had no idea what we'd walked into. Well, now that I'm here, I just would like to express my deepest sympathies for what Sam and Grace are going through. I mean, I know their marriage means everything to them, and to find out that Grace is married to another man.
It ain't over till it's over.
You are such a vulture, Ivy. Oh, you would love for Sam and Grace's marriage to be over so you could just swoop down and pick up the pieces.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think.
Take a deep breath.
It's almost as if it was real, as if I was really married to David. And if that's true, it means I loved him, because you and I both know I wouldn't marry somebody I didn't love.
If you married him, Grace, none of this is for sure.
Sam, it is too late to deny it. Father Mike said it was true.
It doesn't matter.
Sam, I had that flash of a memory.
You couldn't see the groom's face.
It was David. It had to be David. Why else would I have a vision of my wedding when he kissed me?
Look, it wasn't him. You never married him. Now, I'll talk to Father Mike and to see where we go from here. One way or the other, we're getting David out of our lives.
It's just not that simple, Sam. I mean, how do I just walk away from him?
You just do.
All I can think about is Father Mike saying that when David and I stood in front of him at the altar, he saw such love. If that's true, where did that love go? I mean, it didn't just go away. I must have loved him.
Well, let's think about this for just a moment, shall we, Eve? Am I the cause of Sam and Grace's problems? No, not this time. I have absolutely nothing to do with the fact that Grace might be married to this man.
David Hastings.
Ivy Crane.
And this is Father Mike.
Oh, nice to meet you, Father.
Likewise.
Forgive me for eavesdropping, but I couldn't help but wonder why you would call this lady a vulture.
Because Ivy's been waiting to get her talons into Sam.
Years ago, when we were young, Sam and I were in love.
Really?
Yes, we have a son together, Ethan. He's probably going to marry Pilar's daughter, Teresa.
So would I be so wrong in thinking, from what you're saying, Eve, that you're hoping my reunion with Grace will free up Sam to resume his past with you?
Sam will never give up Grace. Never.
It's hard to believe. I mean, to think that you loved another man. What's worse is to think that you still might love him.
I'm just so confused.
Grace, how did this happen? Now you think that you might love David?
Oh, Sam, that's not what I meant. What I meant was that if I had married him, I must have loved him.
You didn't marry him. Grace, listen to me. He is playing mind games with you, taking advantage, using your amnesia. Making you think that the two of you had this great love is an obvious ploy.
Sam, Father Mike said it too. It wasn't just David.
This is all part of his scam. He could have put that thought in Father Mike's head. The guy is a pro.
Sam, the first time Father Mike saw David was in the church, and he didn't recognize him right away. I mean, David didn't have any time to brainwash the priest.
I know. Grace, listen, I don't have all the answers, but I will. I will get to the bottom of this if it takes the rest of my life.
Sam, you're not thinking like yourself. You're not thinking like a cop. You're drawing conclusions without accepting the facts. You're tailoring the evidence to fit what you think.
He's playing us all for fools, Grace. Believe me.
Sam, the fact is, there's no way David could have influenced the priest. And none of this is David's fault. He sees me as his wife. And the fact is, he's right. I am his wife.
Unreal. It's sickening. You know, I have to admit, when you first told me, I didn't really believe you, but now
Whitney, what am I going to do?
Look at your eyes, Teresa. Anyone who knows you would realize you were completely drunk.
This is the worst thing I've ever done in my life.
You know, how could you do this to her? How could you really marry them? Anyone could see that they were drunk. They weren't in their right minds.
Well, people do have the right to get married, even if they're drunk.
That's disgraceful.
That's how it is.
So you're trying to tell me that that's completely legal?
Perfectly legal, I can assure you.
Whitney, we have got to make sure that nobody sees this. I mean, nobody can find out that I married Julian until I have a chance to explain everything to Ethan. I mean, if somebody tells him what happened before I can, it'll mean the end of us.
I just feel sorry for the poor girl, losing her brother and then Ethan. It's tragic.
Tragic. Yeah, well, if Ethan dies, it's Teresa's fault. All her fault.
Julian, could I see you for a minute, please?
Oh, certainly. Would you excuse...
Look at her chatting it up over there. How could she at a time like this? It's as if Ethan is the last thing on her mind.
There's definitely something very strange going on here. Shall we find out what the deal is with our little Teresa?
Oh my God, what are we gonna do? I've never seen anything like this. Hit it straight on. It's our only chance.
You got to know that, Ivy. Sam will never stop fighting for Grace. He'll never give her up.
Obviously you feel that way. You're his brother. You want Sam to be happy.
And he will be.
Sam has no claim on Grace.
Well, what do you call over 20 years of marriage and 3 kids? I'd call that a pretty big claim, wouldn't you?
It's not up to any of us to decide what Sam or Grace will do.
Pilar's right. And so is Hank. Sam's never going to give Grace up. So you can stop salivating, Ivy. You're never going to get Sam.
I think perhaps I'll just, come back and decorate the church later. It was nice to meet you both.
Goodbye, Ivy.
Take care.
I hate to say it, Eve, but it looks like Sam and Grace's future could be very painful. I just need some time.
For what?
To think, to figure out how I feel.
Grace, you're my wife. I love you. And you love me.
And we have to resolve this, Sam.
And we will. Together. I'll help you through this, Grace. Because you're everything to me. Everything. And there's no one else in my life but you.
Please don't punish me for keeping the truth from Ethan. And don't take him away from me. Please bring him back, and I swear I will tell him everything. You're a justice of the peace. Well, you would know. It's easy to get annulment, isn't it?
On the contrary, it can be a rather intricate process.
Read this right here, Big Julie, and boo-hoo. Bigamy on the island equals automatic jail time. It's mandated by law, says it right here, no way around it. If you marry Rebecca, off to the slammer. The same goes for Teresa if she marries Ethan.
Does this man look worried?
Shouldn't you be?
Ethan's lost at sea. It simplifies everything. I'll be here to pick up the pieces. Teresa will never have to worry about bigamy.
And what then? You just stay married to the girl?
Well, you've seen her, wouldn't you?
Now she is a scrumptious bit of crumpet. What about Rebecca?
She and Ivy could console each other.
What's all the whispering about? Well, knowing Teresa, she's probably plotting something.
Well, maybe we can turn her little plot around. Use it against her. Use it to help tear her and Ethan apart.
Teresa! Hello!
Gwen? Rebecca?
What's that photo you're hiding, Teresa?
Here it comes! We're all gonna die! Not gonna die today. I have to save Sheridan.